Jim Becka here talking about something I enjoy doing, writing editorials. An editorial officially is an article that explains the stance of a particular newspaper. What that basically means is that it's the opinion of the newspaper. As a group, the newspaper management, led by the news department, makes a determination about issues in the community. Is the local school board spending too much or too little money? Since it's the collective opinion, signing would make no sense. So you don't have a byline identifying who the writer is. A personal column is much different. These are columns generally written by staff members of the newspaper. It's their personal opinion about issues. As you will find on the pages of this newspaper, the columns almost always come with a photo of the author and that person's contact information at the end of the column. Another major difference with the personal column can be, but isn't always, the subject matter. For instance, somebody might write about their personal lives, like the difficulties of family relations or the frustrations of having a train make them late for an appointment. You generally won't find anything like that in an editorial. I wrote newspaper columns for many years about anything that struck my fancy. I was in a motorcycle accident while on my way to radio station shift. Even though it was an accident, the reactions of the police officer were kind of amusing. My column that week was humorous, but newspaper columns can also be serious. The main point of your column is that it should entertain as well as inform the reader. A University Interscholastic League editorial is a little more formal. If you're planning on competing, you should follow these guidelines. Think of the editorial as a body. The head explains the problem. The neck requires you to take a stand on the problem. The body requires you to explain why you're taking the stand. Most UIL teachers say it's best to give 3 reasons why you're taking the stand. The arm is your evidence behind your stand. The other arm involves explaining and rebutting the opposing view. Why is it wrong? The legs ask you to recap your stance and present a logical solution. As a UIL judge for many years, probably the most common mistake I see is a student explaining the problem but not taking a clear stand. For example, the Portland School District is in need of new computers and is considering approving a new budget adding $200,000 for new technology. So that's the problem, or your head. You might follow this up with a neck. At a time when technology is becoming more important, this is a bad situation for the school district. Okay, it's bad, but that's not a clear stand. You should state clearly whether you're opposed to or in favor of spending the additional funds. Next is your body. Come up with a few reasons for your stand. Find some facts or information in your editorial prompt. If you're in favor of the new computers, you might give a few reasons, like the school district had a budget surplus last year and has the funds. Also, the district parent organizations are pushing for more technology in the school. This is the body of your editorial. The arm of your editorial supports your position. You might use a statistic stating that 90% of all jobs added during the past 5 years require proficiency with computers, and that most applications for employment are done online. Remember, one arm supports your position with the other arm rebutting your reasons for opposing your position. You might say that individuals opposing purchasing the new technology are not willing to admit that funds are available. The first leg asks you to recap with a statement like, "We live in a world that's changing technologically, and the school district is going to have to spend the money to keep up." The second leg looks for solutions. Committees should be formed to oversee that new technology is needed and will go to school departments that can best utilize it. Let's review. The head states the issue. The neck requires you to take a stand on the issue. The body asks you for a few reasons supporting your stand. One arm requires you to come up with evidence for your position. The other arm asks you to rebut the other position and show why the other view is wrong. The first leg wants you to recap your stance, and the second leg asks you to present a solution.